Welcome back. Braxton's War Room, 3 Days of Gettysburg review. And guess what? This is going to be the final turn review. We've got the 1100 turn on July 2nd. Why is it the final review? Well, that's because the Confederates have achieved their one of their two automatic victories. And as you can see, there's a lot of dead Yankees compared to dead rebels. And I talked about this last turn that the once the Confederates got over the line of Cemetery Ridge and Culp's Hill, it's just been sort of unavoidable. Let's see what happened here. So same thing happening here, behind the ridge of Cemetery Hill, the traditional Union defensive lines. Historically, you can see the breastworks here going all along from Culp's Hill in the south, Cemetery Hill, all the way down Cemetery Ridge. Down in front of, we have Big Round Top, Little Round Top, in front of Devil's Den here, as you can see. And there was even some skirmishing, but more than skirmishing, down here south, along in front of Culp's Ridge, where Hood's division was moving over and completely clobbered and nearly annihilated Caldwell's division from the 2nd Corps. So, what's happened in the middle? Just lots of catastrophic losses. This turn actually, the Confederates started taking some pretty good losses, and if you go up here, you can see a lot more than usual. We got Rhodes and Anderson's division here are getting pretty close. I think Anderson actually might be combat ineffective. And Johnson started to take some hits, but still nothing along the lines of the Union. Just, just brutal. And, I think I've read some things about this game that unless the Confederates completely screw up and aren't aggressive enough, that it's pretty hard for them to lose. I'm leaning towards that, except I do think I made some rules errors early on that might have affected the play. By how much, I'm not sure. One thing I would do different, and I'm playing this on Vassal right now, and I've noticed this, is that it's a bad idea for the Union player to make any sort of defense north of Gettysburg, which they always try to do. Of course, there's the traditional defense by Buford on McPherson Ridge and along Seminary Ridge and a little bit north of town. But, it is so difficult. If the Union takes substantial losses from trying to hold that area, it's going to be really difficult for them to recover. And I probably stayed up there a little bit too long. I'm playing this on Vassal right now, and the gentleman I'm playing with is making that mistake as the Union. Although he's got, the game is, I think it's only 1,500 on the first day. But we'll see what happens. You never know. The little bit of, in this game, I'm trying to think where, by the way, really side note, I should tell you what those victory conditions are. So I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but it's 12 combat ineffective divisions for the Union. So we've got Wadsworth here. They've got a bunch of dead units down here. We got Robinson, Doubleday, and Hancock's corps just nailed this turn. Hayes, Caldwell, and Gibbon. And then Sickles' corps, they Humphreys obviously got annihilated when they first were hit by Hood, and then Birney is now in the red as well. And then we've got Ayer's division here from Sykes' 5th Corps, who also took some bad hits. And then Howard's 11th Corps has been in bad shape for a long time. Bunch of dead units down here. And then, of course, poor 12th Corps is just annihilated too. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. More than enough. And I mentioned that the geographic locations were Big Round Top. It was Little Round Top, elements back here behind Weickert's Hill. And they've already taken the Cemetery Hill and Culp's Hill victory hexes. eventually they would probably have taken. If I kept, you know, I mean, if I hadn't reached the auto victory for ineffective brigades, I'm sure eventually they would have taken that as well. You know, I want to play this again eventually, not right away. To see, to really play this with a little bit more, first of all, getting the rules down and not making mistakes. With I can think of a lot of mistakes I made early on, just little things, but which I think would make a big difference later on. But at the same time, I really want to try and play this with a sturdy Union defense rather than trying to fight the Confederates north of Gettysburg, to pull back. And I even have the 11th Corps come up early on when they come on and build these breastworks early, get everything ready. So first Corps, John Reynolds Corps, can pull back pretty quickly, establish a base here, maybe have some skirmishers out or small regiments left out to slow them down, so they can get the bulk of their army on the map and really just wait for them. I think that would give a little bit better, you know, a historical feel to it. Although I had a great time playing this, it was absolutely fascinating to see it unravel and take on what it did. But I'm excited to move on to something else. I've had this on my big table in my room here now for, gosh, I think since the end of last summer, and it's April. It's almost the end of April. So I'm toying with some ideas, possibly playing River of Death, Battle of Chickamauga, which would take up this entire, you know, this is a 3-mapper. Chickamauga is a 4-mapper. Plus it has a small little card that goes on down here at the bottom to show more where the Confederates come on by around Chickamauga Creek. That one would take a long time as well, but I have a great time, and I may be doing that. I'm not sure. I'm going to clean this. It's going to take a while to organize and clean up, and I'll be ready for next time. But anyway, thanks for hanging out, and hope you enjoyed this. You know, like I said, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment on the video, or you can find me on BGG. My username is Braxton Bragg. Yes, Braxton Bragg, the one and only. So yeah, anyway, thanks a lot, friends, and see you next time.